you were a county attorney and you had a case which you did not charge out, how would you deal with an upset victim?
The same way I always do. Typically, if it's a serious case and there's any question at all about whether or not we should pursue charges or not, it goes to an independent review by one of the other attorneys in the office. They are told nothing about the case, and a request is made that they review the case to determine whether or not they believe the case can be charged. The attorneys then meet, and then they discuss what the opinions are of both. At that point, what typically happens, at least with my cases, is I contact a person in our office known as a victim witness coordinator. I request that she set up a meeting with the victims, and at that time, we get together and we talk about the case, explain what's going on with the case, explain what the potential issues are with the case, and if there is a decision either to charge, if it's a serious case, the ramifications of bringing the case to trial, what they can expect, what it's like to be a juror, or not a juror, but a witness, and to testify. But in the converse, if we're not bringing charges, we also make sure that we do our best to explain the reasons why. And we always indicate as well that if new information comes to light that will aid in the prosecution, we will most definitely review the case again. And that's why when we make a charging decision that is not to charge, it is never undertaken lightly. It is subject to peer review, and so that there's a joint determination that you're not missing something that would allow you to go forward. It's the old two heads are better than one theory, and that way you can make sure that something isn't missed, and that's the best way that you can make sure that justice is served, so that every case that is brought before you that could possibly be charged is charged, because that's the goal here, is to achieve justice. In the converse, justice doesn't just mean putting someone in jail. There's oftentimes cases where there's been follow-up investigation done by officers that will exonerate someone that's been charged with a case. And that is what our job is too. It's not just to prosecute people and put them in jail. It's to make sure that justice is served. And that means defending the rights of the citizens of Pine County, because those same citizens of Pine County are also the people that end up being the defendants. And we have a duty and an obligation to do our best to leave no stone unturned to make sure not only that the guilty are prosecuted, but that the innocent are not.
Reese, if you were a county attorney and had a case which you did not charge out, how would you deal with an upset victim?
Now, every case that comes across my desk, I have a saying for each one, and that is that's somebody's life you're dealing with. Every case is important to me. I work every case, and I give every case an A+ effort. If there's a case that I look at and I think there's no way I can prove it, I'm going to talk to law enforcement. I'm going to exhaust every effort. I'm going to go talk to one of my colleagues to see, is there a way that I can prove this case? If not, you have to make that conversation with the victim about why you're not doing it. And it's one of the toughest conversations a prosecutor can have, and I've had a number of them. Because people do feel passionate about their cases. Many people feel wrong, and they feel it's wrong when they don't get a case prosecuted. But if you can't prove it, you need to talk to that person, and I do. And I go through the elements of a crime. I discuss with them why I can't prosecute that specific case and what's lacking in it. And I leave it open if they have any input into how I can make it a better case. But I hope they go away with the understanding that I'm doing the best job that I can. It's important that we talk to victims. And that's why a county attorney is here. We're here to seek justice. We're not here to seek convictions. We're here to seek justice. And actually, the Code of Ethics for a lawyer says that a prosecutor is what they call a minister of justice. It's a strange term. It sounds like a bad Schwarzenegger film, but that's what we call prosecutors. We seek justice, and if a case is not warranted, we're not pushing it for a conviction or for charging. I mentioned earlier about the gentleman I met in Sturgeon Lake with the scar across his chest. He spoke with the county attorney's office, and he felt like they didn't listen to him. at all. And they just dismissed him, and all he said was, it was a he said, she said thing, and wouldn't talk about the case further. I spoke with a guy up at Rutledge, a retired gentleman who had been walking down the road. He was jumped by a guy that was twice his size, half his age. A felony assault was done. He ended up in the hospital with $9,000 in medical bills. That's a felony assault. He asked the county attorney's office to prosecute it. When he met with them, they told him that whatever you tell me, we're not going to change our minds. He was extremely upset by that and had called me and relayed that story to me numerous times. It's very important that we make victims a part of the system. Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, let's take 1 minute each, as kind of closing statement, if you will. And I believe Reese, you're up first. So, Mr. Timekeeper, can you reset for, yeah, reset for 1 minute. Reese.
Thank you. I believe I'm the best qualified candidate for this position. I have a strong leadership background, and leadership is what is needed in the county attorney's office at this time. I've led people around the world when I was a military captain. I've went into organizations that needed help, that needed turning around. We've done that within a week, 2 weeks at a time. Been very successful at it. My record as a prosecutor has few equals. I win almost all my cases. I've lost only a few cases. I believe it's important to try jury trials. The reason I believe it's important because it lets defendants know that I'm serious. It lets criminal defense attorneys know that I'm serious. And that's how we get good plea deals. I believe in working cases to death. Basically, I want justice for the victims. And I want cases to be timely charged. And that's what I bring to the table. Thank you.
Steve, 1 minute, so much.
I believe I have the experience to bring the county attorney forward into the future. I believe that based upon that experience, I have a distinct advantage because, I don't know about you folks, people learn from mistakes. I have worked in the system for 17 years. I know the players in the county. I know how to deal with the defense attorneys. I know when to bring a case to trial. Not every case should go to trial. Jury trials cost about $1,200 per day. If you can't get a conviction, it's not worth it. I wanted to leave you with one thing. The statistics from the State Court Administrator's Office with regard to Pine County from 2009 to 2013 show that in that time, the Pine County Attorney's Office has charged out 10,707 cases. Of those 10,707 cases, we have a conviction rate of 85%, a 14% dismissal rate.
Gentlemen, thank you for appearing tonight. Thank you for